are concerned, it will be a matter of finding ways for these people to be able to integrate in the student society and be able to return to school. The challenge is enormous, I admit. There is a chance that Eric asked me the question, what courage did you have to take such a country? I said, this is my homeland. We are not going to take courage. The question of infrastructure has become known, the laboratories, the library, the internet. I think the internet will be resolved. I often do not understand some people who are unable to help others. I like to pray, and I like to say that if God is to give me $1 billion, everyone wants the money. Everyone wants the fortune. So much for us to try to work. But if God is going to give me $1 billion francs and I cannot give 50 million francs to a young person to help him do something without going out, I pray to God that he does not give me that billion.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching me from. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's another day, amazing day, that I'm thanking you for being here on this YouTube space. And I love you so much. I am the Kenyan Beast. I am doing it the African way every day, every time. And when I talk about African way, there's a number of things that make Africa. And right now, Africa is in a certain wave, that a new geopolitical politics, or the new wave of Sahel region, the new wave of Western politics, the new wave of ECOWAS has brought to Africa. Now we have seen some leaders, they are expelling their foreign powers. For example, France is not having space in Africa. And the youths of Africa are watching. And the youths of Africa, most of them are the one who are yearning for this change. I'm talking about Burkina Faso President Captain Ibrahim Traore. There's a speech he made that gave the youths of Burkina Faso hope, because Burkina Faso has been going through a lot since previous powers, or since Thomas Sankara parted out of power. Burkina Faso has had a lot of problems in the hands of the leaders who are the puppets. And the youths of Burkina Faso have been having a lot of problems in terms of education, security, job opportunity, etc., etc. But there is this speech that Ibrahim Traore gave to the University of Ouagadougou. I think this is the capital city of Burkina Faso. And this speech gave hope to the people, or to the youths of Burkina Faso. And when the youths of Burkina Faso have hope, that means the youths of Africa have hope. Let's watch this speech and then we go talk about it.
I think I didn't have time to come and chat with you. And I am very happy about that. And a very important question for everyone, the security question. The University of Yuri, Wavia, Fada, all these universities which are in the red zone, the question turns to the spirit. But there is a solution in court. I admit that I immediately learned that it is more given than Yuri that there is no court at the university. I admit that I just learned it. I didn't know that it lasted for so long. For the security of these institutions and other villages, what I can tell you today, if you noticed, the first measures we took were to correct our effects. Recruiting. So, the VDP, we have increased the effect by doing 2 classes, the VDP Communaux and the VDP National. This means that the municipalities will remain in their municipalities to defend, and the nationals will be able to be employed everywhere. The idea is also to gradually convert the youngest to the army after a period of fighting. As far as the army is concerned, I think that there is currently a recruitment process of almost 6,000 men, if I am mistaken. And there will be more, because the challenge of manpower is the most important. The fight is reaching a level where we can no longer afford to put small numbers on the ground. We have stepped up recruitment and training is underway. At the same time, too, the equipment is being acquired so that when it finishes its training, it can be immediately engaged in order to be able to come and secure a number of localities. So the question of security comes down to that. There is a question of manpower, a question of equipment, which is in the process of being resolved, because a fighter doesn't train him in 2 or 3 weeks. He needs a minimum of knowledge to be able to cope. And also, the enemy firepower is quite high. We are in the process of equipping ourselves to take at least 5 to 7 times more than his firepower to be able to dominate with our squad. So I can assure you that at the end of the training of these people, which should not be delayed normally, priority will be given to these cities that therefore carry the universities, and also to have the presence around the universities, so that you are not affected again in your academic activities. That will be our priority. Moreover, as far as Thomas Sankara is concerned, the concern has already been raised by your officials, and instructions have already been given to the Minister of Security to generate a force that must be immediately deployed there. With regard to Duri and Waiwia and the other centers, you may have noticed that we have redrawn the territory. Because we were in 3 regions and it doesn't allow us to quadruple effectively. We have redivided and created what is called the grouping of forces. And I think that for those who are in Duri, they must soon see the development. Waiwia too, I have even seen a march forward to demand more safety, which is normal. In the coming hours, you'll also see what's going to happen around you. So right now, we can't detail all the strategy that's in place, but the tactical part, we're putting everything in place in order for the units to be able to cope with it. And moreover, the units are in the process of proving something exceptional, of coping with the minimum they have. But we are also doing everything we can to ensure that they have the necessary equipment. So if I can give you a date for you to take over the court, I cannot say exactly what date it is. But I can tell you that by February, normally, a wave should have finished its formation, and that we will inject into the field. They finish at the end of January and February, they will be injected into the field. And I can't say that we start with Dori or Waiwia or Daegu or all these areas his thing. But we are not going to detail the plan here. But we will do everything so that in the coming days there you are safe and you can go back and resume the course. That is what I can assure you. And that's the case for all universities. With regard to the question by Nancy Bonney, I think it relates to all universities. The number of dishes that is insufficient and the number of dishes with the IDPs today is not easy, I admit. I know that many students also have parents to place, and that makes it difficult. Parents cannot support, and it is you who are now obliged to support. I recognize that all this is complicated, but the corollary of all this is this war. And we have to fight so that in the coming days the temperature can drop and allow people to resume activities a little so that everyone can support the other. But all IDPs from elsewhere today, we are in the process of launching an appeal to be able to, as you may have noticed, there are many municipalities. We make the efforts to refuel, to live them. because that is what people are currently looking to eat first. We are fortunate that they do not reign at first, but we need to be able to meet these nutrition needs for all IDPs, and the effort is being put into that at the moment. We are in the process of looking for as many trucks as possible. Men are ready to engage, especially when it comes to bringing food to the people. They have no fatigue, they have no respite. And after that, we are also going to think about rehousing and redefining the employment of certain IDPs. And as far as students are concerned, it will be a matter of finding ways for these people to be able to integrate in the student society and be able to return to school. The challenge is enormous, I admit. There is a chance that Eric asked me the question, what courage did you have to take such a country? I said, this is my homeland. We are not going to take courage. The question of infrastructure has become known, the laboratories, the library, the internet. I think the internet will be resolved. Fortunately, the minister is here, as she has heard. I think that for the University of Ouagadougou too, it is a concern, fiber optics. In any case, the work is ongoing. I think the connection is different. I hope that by June like this, it must be okay with regard to the internet. I hope so. With regard to laboratories and other effects, I recently discussed with a number of ministers our new cooperation with certain countries. Every time we go to a country for a new cooperation, I like to include the teaching component so that we can find scholarships, so that students can go and improve certain technologies and come back, and above all, so that we can acquire laboratory equipment, because I myself come from here, I do geology, and I know what the laboratory is. I know that in all areas you need it, and in our future partnerships. So we are focusing on that so that we can re-equip our universities a little bit, our schools, so that students can really do that through this, that you can really look for and develop something new. How to adapt education is a very good question. I was answering the question with the elders. The new Minister for Youth, who was installed yesterday, received a mission to be able to reform the educational systems with his comrades in higher education and in basic education. Because Burkina Faso is finishing the final year of high school, the destination is university. Why not in the meantime be able to professionalize training so that from one level, others will be able to directly be employed, and that university is a choice and not necessarily. It is a process that has begun, and he has received the mission, so he will quickly get to work with his other comrades to carry out his reforms. With regard to enlistment to be a VDP, I am very moved, very happy to see that we do not want it. But I have seen in a country at a given level of war, they have had to close universities, enlist students, train them, and deal with the threat. We hope that we will not get to that point. I am particularly pleased to see that there are fighters here, that this age still exists among the students. We'll study and see, but we don't want to hire you to take Kalashnikovs, but we're going to hire you. We're going to hire you for how to make Kalashnikovs. So let us return to the concerns of Thomas Sankara University. This is a concern that has also been raised with the elders, and it is something that I have followed. I think that in October, there was still a fatal accident on the track. On Friday on Passé, if I'm not mistaken, I took the road to go to the BDP training center. I have been able to notice the 3 tests of this route. So as of this week, I am going to see with the Minister for Infra-Deafness what can be done as a matter of urgency so that the track can at least become a track again. And also I was saying for safety, so that has already been taken into account. Let us return to the question of patriotism. Well, fortunately, it comes from you. And I hope that patriotism is the one that drives you the most. Nothing beats the homeland. These young people have already understood that our homeland will never be anywhere else, and that our home is our home here. Those who don't want to fight for the homeland, I think you know them. I don't want you to be violent towards them, but we have to observe them like that. Continue to play the role of the erect. But we will find ways and means to go with the patriots towards the influence of our homeland. And this is a very important phenomenon, all the more so because people have called for civic education and everything to be brought back to the level of the universities themselves. But we will find the formula to ensure that the level of patriotism of young people succeeds, so that people do not follow in the footsteps of certain people who have really lost everything. Now it is a question of guaranteeing the population of the liberated areas. I can't tell you here. If I tell you, it is public. If I am the enemy, I will adapt. You understand? There are many things that we cannot say publicly because we are helping to inform the enemy, to prepare ourselves to counter what we are doing. We prefer to reserve surprises, but remember that the war that is going on is about battles. As you notice, there are days when we lose men, but there are days when we win. Generally, we don't communicate too much since it started. As they say, the purpose of this war is not to kill, but we have no choice. If those who have understood lay down their arms and join, we know what we can do for them. Those who have not understood, we have no choice. We have been forced to fight the fact with the deed, so that is what is here. The reduction in the number of political parties, I believe that there is a comprehensive reform underway. If we do not do it, it will never happen.
Je pense que c'est vous les décideurs. C'est vous les jeunes, c'est vous les décideurs.
I think you are the decision makers. You are the young people. You are the decision makers. And we are going to reform so that I think it should be of concern to everyone, so that people can unite. I do not think there are 1,000 different ways to develop the bourgeonnage. There are certainly a lot of programs that cross paths. They must be able to unite in order to make a single program and therefore have parties, really, a reduced number of parties. Or failing that, we will draw up texts with their help to reduce this growing number of political parties. This is the very beginning of the cohesion and unity of the Burgundians. The party leaders must be able to unite, to create something great, to have a clear ideology, and to be able to follow suit. Their aim, therefore, is to carry out ongoing reforms which will be launched to the Prime Minister, who will convince a framework for consultation on these reforms. Look at my faithful companions. You have many followers. They are faithful, so don't worry. The peculiarity between me and my companions is that war is not all bad. War is all very well.
ça permet d'unir le combattant. Donc, à
It
travers la
unites the
guerre, on a
fighter.
vécu
So
beaucoup
through the
d'épreuves
war, we
différentes.
went through a lot of trials and fires together. We've been through death together many times. It unites much more than anything. So that's the most important thing. So you can be sure that we have been together once in death. It is the strongest bond that can exist, which can easily... Betrayal is money, and it is this aspect that we must be very careful about. I often have a prayer that I like to say and that I continue to do, especially from my current position, because I often do not understand some people who are unable to help others. I like to pray and I like to say that if God is to give me $1 billion, everyone wants the money. Everyone wants the fortune. So much for us to try to work. But if God is going to give me $1 billion francs and I cannot give 50 million francs to a young person to help him do something without going out, I pray to God that He does not give me that billion.
Donc je souhaite qu'il en soit de même pour toute la jeunesse, que nous ne laissons jamais.
I hope that the same will be true for all young people, that we will never let money get the better of us. We are hungry, we are poor, we have everything, but there is nothing like human dignity.
Welcome back. Ibrahim Traore is a symbol of hope in Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traore is a symbol of hope in Africa. From the speech that he has given here in University of Burkina Faso, this speech is not recently, he gave back in the days, and he talked about security, he talked about education, he talked about infrastructure, he talked about things that his government gonna put in position to make sure the youth of Burkina Faso is making it big. And he said that he is the youth, he knows what's going on. He was here before and he knows what is being needed in this institution. He knows what the youth of Burkina Faso need to make it. He talked about the issue of security. Of course, security have been the problem in Burkina Faso, where we have terrorists that are attacking. We have the people who don't want Ibrahim Traore to be in power, causing chaos here and there. But he talked about how he's dealing with them. What I love about Ibrahim Traore is not a leader that will keep or will say or will come and tell us empty promises, simply because he's a leader who says what he is doing or what he will or what it is going. Because on this page he said that they won't do everything right away. It's hard to do everything right away, but they are looking at the key points that will make Burkina Faso to thrive, and then the successor who will come after him, they will find that the road is at least on the right direction. That's what he said. And like other leaders or politicians who give empty promises that we have done, we have put man aside, no, he is talking about what is going on and what they will have to achieve. The one that they will not achieve, they will try as much as possible, at least to achieve it. Now, this speech gave hope to the youths of Burkina Faso. Because what youths want is education. What youths want is, after education, is employment. The youths want technology. The youths want the infrastructure of a country. A leader who ventures into education and job opportunity and deal with agriculture sector and every sector that makes a youth not to go away from the country. He's a youth or is a leader that looks the future of that country. Ibrahim Traore is talking more about the children of us, our children who will come, our grandchildren who will come. Let them say that they lived some people in 2024, in 21st century who changed the face of Burkina Faso, who changed the fate of Africa, who helped to shape the politics of Africa, who helped to shape the economy of Africa, who helped to shape the liberation of Africa. I'm happy where a lot of people are telling me, are commenting, saying that they are happy to be alive at this time to see the change that's happening in Africa. Indeed, I am happy to be alive to experience this change that is happening in Africa. But I may not know more. But my fellow subscribers who are above 50, 45, 50, they know what we are talking about. They are happy to experience this little but change that they are experiencing. People have gone through a lot in the hands of foreign powers, in the hands of US, in the hand of France. People have gone through a lot. Neocolonization, slavery, everything that has happened in Africa. Neocolonization, first-hand colonization, leave alone neocolonization that's happening today. But there will come a day that we will say we were here to call for change in Africa. There will come a day my children will say that our father, the Kenyan beast, was here to shape the liberation of Africa, to shape the freedom of Africa. I'm so glad to be here on this change. And I'm so glad because I'm a youth. And Ibrahim Traore as a youth, he is giving me hope that better tomorrow is coming. Ibrahim Traore, me as a youth, he is giving me hope that Africa is changing. Even though we have come in days where people are complaining that it was like this, but at least I'm living in days that I'm helping to shape Africa. Now, about the speech that Traore gave, this was an amazing speech. And I was differentiating between Ibrahim Traore and our Kenyan President William Ruto. Whenever William Ruto name is mentioned elsewhere in the universities, students or the youths, they boo him because they don't love his agenda, or he went out of his agenda. He's doing things just because he's doing, not because it's good for the people. But you have seen when Ibrahim Traore has entered in this university, people have celebrated. The youths, they went wild, shouting because they are happy. And whenever he gave the point, they were keenly listening to him because he is like them. He knows the problem they are facing. He knows security is the issue. He knows infrastructure of schools is the issue. He knows that the teachers, they have to be paid timely, on time. He knows that these schools need resources. He knows after this school, these students, these youths will need employment. And that's why he said he will never want, he don't want the mind of Burkina Faso to go away from Burkina Faso. And he is determined to do that. I can see, because the measures that he is keeping, it is enough to run a country of Burkina Faso. The measures that's keeping is enough to say that this is bringing change in Africa. We are not just praising. It's not just about praising. It's about what's happening on the ground. It's about the people of Burkina Faso. They are talking about this. A leader who is doing great, you will know from the people of that place. A leader who is not doing good, you will see from the people going to the parliament and burning the parliament because they are not happy with that government. A leader who people love him, you will see the reaction of people whenever he came across. But a leader who is forcing people to love him, you will see him paying people to come and shout at them. Ibrahim Traore is a symbol of hope to these youths of Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traore is a symbol of hope to the youths of Africa who are listening and watching him every day. If you are a youth watching this video, just know we have a future here and we need to push that button harder. We don't need to release our hand there. If you are an older person watching this video, just know that you are living to experience the best side of Africa. You are living to experience the change. You are living to experience the freedom that is coming. If you're an older person watching this video, just know that you are here to help us to push this message, because I know you will be a happy person. You will age well to know that you have left Africa in the hands of better people. And you will age well knowing that your grandchildren, your grandchildren will not suffer in the hands of imperialism, colonialism, slavery, and all these atrocities. Ibrahim Traore is the hope to these youths of nowadays. Tell me what you think on the comment section. Until next episode, peace be with you.